Okay, we're officially live. Welcome to the earnings stream that I do every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. The two tickers that are reporting earnings today, after the close, of course, regular session bell just rang, is Adobe, that's ticker symbol ADBE, and then Nordson Corporation, that's NDSN. It's 4 p.m. Eastern. We got a few minutes to kill here. Adobe, they report at 4:05 p.m. Eastern, so just got another 5 minutes there. The forecast, or let's say the consensus earnings per share, the EPS figure, is at $4.67 for Adobe, and their forecast revenue is 5.54 billion. So that's revenue just for the quarter. So powerhouse company here with Adobe. Again, we got a few more minutes to kill before they release the data. They usually do a fantastic job beating the EPS. This is from their last basically 10 earnings. You can see nice and green across the board there. So not really concerned with the EPS on Adobe. They're going to probably do just fine like they always do. It's probably going to be more the revenue and then, of course, the guidance. Looking at the reaction Adobe had one day after their previous earnings, they were red when they reported on September 12th. They were down like $50 a share. It's a $500 stock, so it's 8.47% they were down. The time before that, they were nice and green, and the time before that, they were nice and red. So maybe they're due for a positive reaction. Again, it's these earnings, it's usually a coin toss. It's all just going to depend on the guidance. Got a couple more minutes here, so let's go to Nordson Corp. And just so everyone knows, let me go two chart view on Webull real quick. Hold on. Go two chart view. Because not a lot of people are familiar with NDSN, but they're basically the industry they're in is machinery, tools, heavy vehicles, trains, and ships. So that they're precision technology company, engineers and manufacturers and market differentiated products and systems used for precision dispensing, applying, and controlling adhesives, coatings, polymers, sealants, biomaterials, and other fluids to test and inspect for quality. All right, so that's just give you an idea what type of company they are. Let me put Adobe here on the left. Okay, I'm going to zoom into the 1 minute chart. Let me see, I might have an old Fibonacci on here. Let me get rid of that. So I go 1 minute chart on Adobe. Just got a few more minutes and we should get the data for Adobe. Let me get my other screen pulled up. As soon as the EPS and revenue comes in, I'll post that on YouTube for everybody. Okay, getting some anticipatory price action on Adobe. Dayan on YouTube. Greetings from Germany. Well, welcome. Glad to have you on the stream here. And I'm glad you joined us. We usually have a lot of fun every Wednesday watching these reactions to these earnings and talking about the stock a little bit and stuff like that. So anyways, it's 4:03 p.m. Just a few more minutes and we'll officially get the data for Adobe. Let me get my other screen ready to go. Okay, ADBE, yep. All right, so any minute now. Like I said, we got a little bit of volatility here on the 1 minute chart, but this is just leading up to the data actually getting announced. Now, the implied move for Adobe is $38 per share. Look at NDSN. What's going on over there on the right? It's 4:04 p.m. Technically, the data's not supposed to be out for a minute, but maybe that's just a little Webull glitch there on NDSN's chart. It just kind of popped up and came right back down, and it's like it never even happened. So we see that on Webull from time to time. That's why I always like to have trading view pulled up on the side and just kind of see what's going on there. Let me go 1 minute on both of these. Okay, so trading view says NDSN's at 250 a share. They closed the regular session at 249.68. It's 10 seconds left until it's officially 4:05 p.m. Eastern. Anyways, what I was saying on Adobe, the implied move is $38 per share. It's about 6.9% move. We'll see what happened. We'll see what happens as soon as the data comes in. So it looks like it's out. let's see if this is going to be the real move or not. Again, an implied move for this catalyst is 38 bucks a share. Let's see if this initial reaction is going to be the real reaction or not. You know, sometimes we get those initial moves aren't really the real move, right? So just kind of give it a second, let it marinate there. Okay, so kind of exactly what I was saying. We get that initial move. It wicked all the way up to almost 570, came right back down, and it looks like now the real move's coming in. I'm trying to remember. I think a few people in Discord were bearish on Adobe. A few were. It was kind of mixed. Some people were bullish, some people were bearish. So, all right, let me refresh my other screen and see if we got the data. Right now, they're down 2.5%. Yeah, $27 a share. Let's see if this thing is going to keep going. Okay, the data's out, and Adobe actually did have a double B. Let me just pull this over so everyone can see real quick. I'll go back to the sticks here in a second. But earnings per share, the expectations for EPS was $4.67. They reported $4.81, so beat on that. Expectations for revenue was $5.54 billion, and they came in at $5.6 billion. So beat on the revenue. So double beat for Adobe. Again, if it's gonna be a negative reaction, it's obviously one more thing left that they report on, and that's the guidance. So far, we might have an issue with the guidance, but it does look like it's trying to come back up here. It's kind of flickering a little bit. Let me go over to Webull and check Webull real quick. Just look at the order book. And we do have a slight buy side imbalance right now. This thing might want to try and claw back. We put a Fibonacci on there. I just want to see where they're. I'm not going to count this top wick because that wasn't really a move. I'm just going to, from where it started selling off here, maybe down to here. Okay, so let's kind of see. So it sold off down to 521.52 cents. Popped right back up. Almost retraced all the way back up, but then came right back down. It's pretty volatile right now. So this could go lower, y'all. Might be a little dead cat bounce, if you will, and then it continues lower. We'll see. It's just flickering way too much for us to really have any indication right now. So let's just kind of wait a minute and see what happens. I'll come back to Adobe here in a second, but we did get the EPS and revenue numbers. Let me see if I can type this out, and I'll post that on YouTube. Let me see if I can just copy and paste from my earlier post here. Okay, this is good data here. I'll post this. Thank you, Shai Balor. I'm just gonna do. He's also part of our Discord group, PB Alerts. He went ahead and updated that for everybody. So let me post this on YouTube. To the board from Israel. Welcome to the party. Glad to have you. Let me show this data from Adobe real quick. So this is kind of what I just went over in a nutshell. Sales came in 5.61 billion versus the forecast 5.54 billion. EPS came in 4.81 versus forecast of 4.66. RPO 20 billion. That's up 16% year over year. But again, we are getting a negative reaction here. So let's see if what's going on here. Is it being pushed down to try and get a discount or what? Let me see. Here's a little narrative on Adobe. So investors losing patience with adoption first, monetization later strategy. That's kind of been Adobe's strategy lately. So investors are losing patience with that. Maybe that's why we're getting a negative reaction here. Just got some data from Bloomberg. I just want to, from the Bloomberg terminal, let me just read this real quick. Adobe has been adding its proprietary AI technology, Firefly, to products like Photoshop and Illustrator, but it's rolling out its AI video product much more slowly than OpenAI's rival Sora service. The company said last quarter that it has been focused on making sure customers use its AI features rather than seeking to directly make money from the tools. So they were more, and that was the statement made earlier, Adobe's strategy has been more focused on adoption instead of actually making money, and investors are kind of losing their patience with that. And we got Rollins 82 on Discord says the guidance. Yeah, that's if it's going to stay a negative reaction, it's absolutely going to probably be the guidance here. Just a note from Myers, it has invested a lot, but we're getting tired of not seeing a bang for the buck. If the tone is negative again, it will be a while before Adobe can shake the sense it is falling behind. And that's just the fact of the matter. They're falling behind, trying to focus too much on adoption instead of actually making the money. Fourth quarter results are expected to show net earnings growth above 13% and revenue growth of almost 10%. However, net new recurring revenue is seen falling 3.1%. All right, let me move this out of the way and go back to the sticks here. Whoa, I just missed okay, so yeah, you see how these candles are just flickering? Look at this, wicked up all the way to 549 and then just came right back down. What's Trading View showing? Yeah, Trading View is not really showing those wicks. So got some glitches going on Webull. I'm sure y'all have experienced that before, where you just get a random wick either up or down and then it disappears like it was never there. So, you know, just keep your eye on that kind of stuff. NDSN sitting flat. Okay, they closed the regular session at 249.55. And they're sitting here at that same exact price. So nothing going on with NDSN right now. Let's see if their earnings even got released or not. I mean, there's just been no movement on that stock. Go to Trading View. Yeah, kind of similar on Trading View. NDSN. Let me type this over here in the source page and just see if you know, if they reported, because there's just nothing going on with the stock right now. Let's see here. NDSN was on the bigger time frames, was kind of trading in an ascending wedge after it sold off a little bit. The expectations on NDSN, we already went over that. I'll just go over it one more time. Earnings per share, $2.59. Revenue, $736.79 million. So we'll see what they actually report. But I'm not seeing anything being reported yet. So their earnings must be delayed. There's just nothing going on with it. They were supposed to report at 4:05 p.m. Eastern with Adobe. Okay, the earnings whispers just changed the time to 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So Nordson Corporation's earnings release got postponed a little bit because this said 4:05 p.m. Eastern, unless earnings whispers just had a typo there and it was 4:30 the entire time. Anyway, so we got about 17 more minutes before we're supposed to get the data for NDSN. We just go back to the 6 again on Adobe. So again, just to recap on Adobe, they beat EPS, they beat revenue. Obviously, guidance just wasn't there for investors. And again, we kind of recapped already that investors are just getting tired of waiting for their strategy to play out, their corporate strategy, if you will, which is adoption first and monetization later. And investors are just tired of it. And we're seeing a negative reaction on the earnings right now. So obviously with the guidance and you know, what the data that came out, it's not really reassuring investors that their strategy is changing more to monetization. It sounds like the guidance is more of the same thing that they've been saying all year, and you know, investors just aren't they're sick of it. They're tired of the patience is wearing out. Let me refresh my other screen. Go back to Adobe just for a second. Okay, Adobe just made, let me see what the low and after hours was. Yeah, let me get rid of this fib because it's making lower lows now. So we had the initial negative reaction. It kind of did retrace almost back up and then just got pushed right back down. You can see from this big upper wick here. And now it's basically just making new lows in after hours right here. Let me just go back. Yep, just made a new low at 517 per share. This stock closed the regular session at 549.93, sitting here in after hours down almost $31 a share in the red. Let me just scroll through this other thing. Adobe CEO. I have a feeling Adobe CEO is going to be sugarcoating a lot of things, but we can kind of go over this a little bit. Let me see if I can Okay, we're finally getting a reaction on NDSN. This, look at the spread on the order book. The bid's at 247.50, the ask at 256.23, quite wide there. So that's probably just the, we see this red candle here. It's just probably has something. Okay, no, we are getting a, yeah, I see it. We're getting a negative reaction. I don't think the data's out though. So again, this might be price action related to the width of the spread here on the bid and the ask. So I wouldn't trust it too much. Let me just talk about Adobe just for a little bit, because I think most people are here for Adobe. I'll keep the chart here on the left side so everyone can see it. Matter of fact, let me do this. I'm gonna, the way we keep the price of the stock here on the right, and I'll put Adobe on the right side here so people can see, get a better view. And this is the 5-minute chart. 1 minute, lots of noise after that first reaction. 5-minute chart still very much bearish. We haven't gotten a green 5-minute candle print yet in after hours. So, but anyways, let's just go over some of the Adobe stuff so everyone has a clear idea of the data that came out. So obviously they let's say fiscal year 2024 net new digital media AR exceeds 2 billion. Digital experience revenue exceeds 5.3 billion. Record Q4 operating cash flows at 2.92 billion. And this was the RPO data that Stock Savvy Shy was telling everyone about on Twitter. That came in at 19.96 billion, and that's 16% year-over-year growth. So you would think that this is good stuff here. Again, I really just think it's boiling down to the guidance and the fact that investors are losing patience with their strategy, their corporate strategy. So I would expect to see the CEO, again, kind of sugarcoat a lot of comments, maybe beating around the bush a little bit, if you will. But let's just see what he says here. So Adobe delivered record fiscal year 24 revenue, demonstrating strong demand in mission critical role Creative Cloud, Document Cloud, and Experience Cloud play in fueling the AI economy, said the CEO. Our highly differentiated technology platforms, rapid pace of innovation. This is just what I thought. It's a lot of putting a lipstick on a pig, if you will, or sugarcoating. He's going to have all these statements that sound all grandiose, but he's not really giving more confidence in for the investors. Is they're waiting for monetization to start, and they don't want them doing focusing mostly on adopting strategy and stuff like that. So they're more concerned with adoption instead of making money, like I said many times. So let me just read this next statement, and we'll go over the highlights just for a second. But Adobe drove fiscal year 24 records of 21.51 billion in revenue, 8 billion in cash flows from operations, and 19.96 billion in RPO. And that was said by the CFO. Adobe strategy, AI innovation, and massive cross-cloud opportunity positions us well for 2025 and beyond. So I think the main highlights is going to be the record cash flows from operations, almost $3 billion there. And then of course the remaining performance obligations, that's what RPO stands for, exiting the quarter were 19.96 billion. So that's good. Adobe repurchased approximately 4.6 million shares during the quarter. So they obviously have an ongoing share repurchase program or share buyback plan going on right now. But again, the price action is not matching up with what the CEO is saying in the statements. And again, we kind of already went over that and talked about why just investors are losing their patience with their corporate strategy. And it's showing through on the stock price with this earnings data. Let me refresh my screen. It's 4:19 p.m. Move this out of the way. And let me just check Kiwi on Discord. Everyone buying Tesla. I know Tesla just was going nuts today. I'll pull it back up because Ethan, our in-house day trader, he was trading this today, and Tesla's just on a massive run here. I mean, this thing was just at 378, a few trading days ago on Monday. Now up here well above $400 level, trading at 426.98 right now. Well, that's what was the high. Tesla actually closed the regular session at 424.77, and it is green in after hours by about a quarter of a percent. So yeah, lots of people buying Tesla. To the board on YouTube, you shorted Adobe. Well, if you did, congratulations, because this thing's down $35 a share. I was going to say that too. Like, you know, if this was not the real move, I think it probably would have maybe started making an attempt at reversing right now. You know, maybe we'd see some more dip buyers and after hours, but I'm just not seeing it. There's still quite a bit of selling pressure on the tape, but we'll see. Adobe overall is a good company. Going into the earnings, their PE ratio was hovering right around 30. Their EPS pretty solid at 11.84, free float of 439 million, and their net income on a quarterly basis. I mean, they're pretty consistent with their net income. Usually, you can see the past 5 quarters here. They usually come in right around 1.5 billion. And that's positive net income. Okay, total revenue is obviously different. Total revenue usually hovers around 5 billion. That stays pretty consistent. Their year-over-year numbers are real solid with the revenue, and this would be comparing to the same quarter in the previous year. You can see these double-digit year-over-years where it stays really consistent and smooth and steady, really. But you know, so I guess my point is if you were long on Adobe, you know, it's not all doom and gloom. Okay, this is still a great company. All right. You know, their debt to assets only 51%. That's fantastic there. And they're just, it's a solid company. It's just, you know, investors we're getting impatient and we're seeing a pullback right here. But I think overall, in the grand scheme of things, you know, Adobe's going to be just fine. You could see here back in 2022 when they lost a lot of value there, but basically making higher lows. This is the weekly chart. The daily chart, you know, they were just at 475 not too long ago, basically 1 month ago, and you know, they rallied all the way to 550. So if you think about the amount that they retraced from that low from a month ago, you know, it hasn't really retraced much on the bigger picture. You know, we can let me just draw this up like this. So it's sitting at 514. Yeah, so you know, it's retraced about 50% of the recent rally it had over the last 30 days. Oh yeah, Enunchai on YouTube, or I'm sorry, this is from Twitter. Adobe did have a run up from 2 weeks ago. Yeah, me and you thinking along the same lines there, because I had remembered Adobe's been on a bit of a rally. I mean, I know it's been kind of sloppy price action. This is price action just from the past 30 days, and it's been a little sloppy, but nonetheless, it was making higher lows, you know, going up. But you know, taking into consideration the recent rally it had, which was almost a $75 per share move from 475 all the way to just above 550s, you know, it's only retraced half of that. So again, it's not all doom and gloom if you're currently long on it. Adobe's going to be just fine. Okay, they're definitely a powerhouse. So okay, yeah, some people on Discord said they can't see my screen. Let me just try and stop streaming it, and then I'll reshare it. But that seems to be an ongoing issue with the Discord, so I apologize about that. Okay, I just reshared it, so you should be good to go there. Anyways, so you know, look at it this way: this could be a potential discount, especially if you're not currently long on Adobe. You know, you're about to get you could get a $30-$40 discount per share on the stock. So there's a couple of different ways to look at this, you know, and one would be, hey, if you were waiting on a pullback on Adobe, well, you got one. And look at it this way, maybe just wait a few days. A lot of times when we, especially in the Discord, we always tell people when we see the negative reactions after an earnings announcement, maybe give it a couple days. Don't, especially if it's a stock that you've been waiting on a pullback. Don't be so quick to rush into it. Again, not financial advice, just giving you my opinion here, but maybe wait a day or two, maybe even 3 days, to ensure that, hey, the selling has stopped, or at the very least, at least slowed down. And, I need to see a couple daily candle prints to help determine if has the selling actually slowed down, or has it stopped? Is it starting to reverse and stuff like that? And it just takes time to find that stuff out. So let me go back here to this, delete that. So still got some more downside on Adobe. It doesn't look like it's slowing down yet. This is a 15-minute chart. It's working on the second 15-minute candle print. Let me put NDSN on the left because they should be reporting here any minute. They're getting some anticipatory price action. I don't think the data's out yet. Let me refresh my other screen. Okay, it's almost 4:30 p.m. Eastern. If you were, okay, more downside on Adobe. It just tapped. Yeah, it's coming down. So there's more selling. You can see a clear sell side imbalance on the order book. The buyers are not even close to what the sellers are doing right now on the tape. So it just dropped to 508 and some change. So what I want to do is let people know how they can get to the earnings call with the CEO. Okay. So let me just find the link for everyone, because I know some people probably want to join that call. All right, so what we're gonna do, it's very simple here. God, I hate Windows 11. Y'all ever notice that you go to pull a window up and Windows 11 pops down this little bar at the top? That stuff is so annoying. I'm gonna figure out a way to turn that off. Anyways, very easy. If you want to join the web call with the CEO for Adobe, all I did was Google ADBE Investor Relations, and boom, it's the first deal that pops up here. You could probably just click on the first link and then scroll down, and here it is right here. So the earnings call with the CEO is going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay. And you can see right here, it's the featured event. It's a Q&A with company leadership. All right. And this is actually on October 14th, that event here. But you just click on here, and then you can see right here, December 11th, 2024, 2 p.m. Pacific time, which is 5 p.m. Eastern. And then just click on that link there. They might ask you to fill out some little form. It's okay. And just click submit, and they'll let you into the call. All right. So let me actually go here, and I'll just post this link for everyone here. Tudo on YouTube, $1,100 on Adobe. Yeah, if you were short Adobe, congratulations. Congratulations. I will give a congratulations to the Adobe Bears. All right. Nice early holiday present there for you, Tudo on YouTube. And hey, it's sitting at 505 now. You know, we were talking earlier, the implied move for this was $38 a share, and it's down $44 a share right now. Let me move this out of the way. It's just getting in the way right at this point. But let me, yeah, congrats on that, Tudo. Nice hit. Nice hit. Okay, here's the link for the web call with the Adobe CEO. Okay. You screenshot that. I just posted on the bottom of my screen on YouTube. And that's not for another 30 minutes. So, but I would assume long-term investors of Adobe are going to want to listen in on that call. All right, NDSN. Technically, they're supposed to report in 15 seconds. It's 4:29 Eastern, and their report time's 4:30. So let's go back here. I'm gonna go 1 minute chart on NDSN. Yeah, just real spotty price action. Okay, something's going on here. It's officially 4:30 p.m. Eastern. They were trading. I guess their volume was a little elevated for today. Their average volume over 3 months is only around 200,000 a day is the volume. So kind of a light volume stock, if you will. They did trade over 500,000 in volume today, so they did double their average. But all in all, there's just not much volume happening on this stock recently. At least the average over the last 3 months. Let me go back to NDSN on the source page and see if we got the results. Because let me see here. Yeah, the bid and ask still very widespread on the bid and ask. So okay, here's NDSN. I do got the results for them. I'll just pull that over just real quick here. We got earnings per share. The forecast was $2.59. And they reported 278, so solid beat on that, about 10% beat on that. Revenue came in 736 million. I'm sorry, that was the forecast, 736 million, and they actually reported 744 million. So double beat for NDSN. Again, not really getting a reaction on the stock price. I mean, I suppose it's a bearish reaction. I mean, it came down to 240 just using the Webull order book. And I know the Webull order book isn't as accurate because I see that all the time. But I mainly do my actual trading, my transactions on Fidelity, Vanguard, Schwab, the bigger brokers. But I do notice some discrepancies with Webull's order book, where the spread on Webull will be super wide. And then I go to Fidelity and it's nice and tight, the spread, right? So always, cross check your, especially if all you've been using is Webull, open up your eyes a little bit and just make sure to cross check that with other brokers, because the bid and ask spread on Webull, I see errors on that all the time. But I just use it as a quick guide, kind of from a bird's eye view. But when I'm actually trading, I tend to see the bid and ask on brokers like Fidelity, Schwab, and Vanguard are a lot tighter. The spreads are a lot tighter with those brokers. Anywho, NDSN. So my point is I guess it's a negative reaction because the bid on, or the quote on the ask was at 257 and it dropped to 242, and now it's down to 2. Okay, see, now it popped right back up. So we're just getting some, and Webull's at it again with those wicks that appear and then disappear out of the blue. So let me just cross check with TradingView here. Okay, TradingView showing they're down to 232.90 in after hours, which would be down 6.67%. That's $16 a share down. So again, with these earnings announcements, it's not all about the EPS and revenue. A lot of times that stuff doesn't even mean anything. Investors want to know what, the markets are forward looking. They want to know what the guidance is. That's just the bottom line. Okay. I mean, yes, EPS and revenue is important, but I think guidance holds a much heavier weight than EPS and revenue. And this is a perfect example. These two stocks right here, Adobe, double beat EPS, beat revenue. Investors obviously didn't like the guidance, and they still are not happy with their corporate strategy, all right, which is adoption now, money later. Investors don't like that kind of stuff, and that's why Adobe's sitting here down $45 a share in after hours. It's just people are getting fed up with it. Same thing with NDSN. They beat revenue. They actually had a nice beat on EPS, 10% over the forecast, double-digit percentage. But they beat EPS, beat revenue, and they just can't catch a bid. Neither of these companies are catching a bid right now. So let me see if I can find anything else on NDSN before. Let me see here. Yeah, before I end the stream, because I want to make sure everyone can get to the earnings calls with the CEO. Okay, Roland 82 on Discord says NDSN is 246.40 on Robinhood. Yeah, so some discrepancy that might have maybe been a little bit earlier. But always double check with some other brokers to make sure some of these things with the order book and the price. But yeah, we had some noise going on with NDSN at first, but now it's literally just sitting down here, down $16 a share. And the order book is reflecting that the price is down here. Okay, so it's not just some like fluke, you know what I mean? Let me just go back. Yeah, okay, so Robinhood's showing it's at 235 now. Yeah, Weeble's got them at 239. TradingView 233. So again, after hours price action, getting some discrepancies with different brokers, but again, it's trading on very low volume today. It's a stock that always trades on low volume. So you're going to see spotty price action, especially with Weeble. Adobe still sitting down here, and it hit a low of 501.24. So Tudo on YouTube. This thing stays down here, you're getting paid tomorrow. Congrats on that trade. Sarath on YouTube, I think Adobe absolutely will eventually bounce. We were going over this earlier. It's a solid company. I don't care if investors are getting impatient because their corporate strategy is adoption over monetize. Adoption now, monetization later. I don't care if investors are getting tired of that. It's still a very, very profitable company. We were looking at the income statement earlier. They on a regular basis, comparing the previous 5 quarters of earnings, they're pulling in 1.5 billion every quarter net, positive net income, and that's just fantastic. And as far as the revenue, they're around 5 to 5 billion in revenue every quarter, but net income, they always do a great job pulling a great profit. They got good margins. I absolutely do think Adobe recovers. And I was saying earlier, especially for investors that maybe were looking to get into Adobe, but just maybe couldn't quite find the right opportunity to get into it. Here's your pullback right here. Here's your discount right here. And again, not financial advice, but if it was me, and I'd take the amount of capital that I was willing to invest into that stock, and maybe just dollar cost average in over, I don't know, 3-6 months. It just depends what you plan on doing there. And that way, you can ensure you get the best price in case it does maybe move a little lower and breach 500 to the downside. We look at the weekly chart right here. And obviously there was some great demand at around 475. I mean, it's only at 505 right now. That's not too far off from where this last demand zone was. I want to pop on the volume profile real quick. Hold on. There we go. Now I can get now keep in mind, this is the weekly chart. Okay. I'm going to actually go one chart view. Okay. There we go. So here's Adobe. This is the daily chart. You can obviously see, let's just zoom out a bit more here if we can. Okay, so there's 485. There was actually, look at this volume node that came out, but the price is already below that. So definitely would want Adobe back above 520. That probably might act as resistance on the way back up. We'll see. But let me just zoom out here. Yeah, this is a clear picture here. Now this is price action from basically all of 2024. Okay, this is price action for basically all of this year. You can clearly see on the volume profile where most of the volume came in. It's right here, right where it bounced right here. And this was right around Halloween. So a month and a half ago or so. It was right around Halloween. You can see this big volume node sticking out. It's right around the 480 level. So, it's safe to assume that was a level of interest back around Halloween. That could be a good demand area there. Currently, Adobe's trading at $506 a share here in after hours. So that would put it just below the EMAs on my chart, right around here. But again, if the selling continues, I wouldn't put, if it was me, I wouldn't go all in on the stock right away, because there could be a potential this comes down to the previous level of interest, the previous level of demand, and you simply can find that by looking at the volume profile and seeing what level did all the volume come in on the stock this year. And this is 1 year worth of price action, and most of it came in the 480. So if this selling continues, I would look at 480 for a bounce. And look at it this way: if the stock's trading at $505, okay, and we think there's some demand around 480. Okay, that's $25 a share from where the price is at now. So $25 divided by 505. I mean, that's only a 5% more pullback. You know, what's that? That's not really much, is it? I mean, Adobe could have a few, 2% red days, and it'll be at 480 before you know it, So again, it's a $500 stock, so $25 a share. It's like, oh, it's $25 a share, but it's really not that much on a $500 stock, as we just did the math on that. That's only a 5% pullback from the price of 505 down to 480. All right. So to answer the question on what my opinion is on whether Adobe will bounce, I 100% think Adobe's eventually going to bounce, because we just took a quick glance at their fundamentals and their financials. They were a solid company fundamentally going into the earnings, and they're still going to be a solid company moving forward. They make fantastic net positive income every quarter. And so if it was me, I'd be more looking at this as a discount to go long. So I hope that kind of helps and lets y'all kind of peek into how I think and certain things that I look at to help determine, hey, is this a good dip buy or what? We got to be able to dive into the income statement and the balance sheet, check debt to asset ratio, PE ratios, EPS, all that fun stuff that some people just kind of don't look at sometimes. But I think it's important, especially if we're trying to determine if this is a good dip buy or a good discount moving forward, right? Let me just check NDSN one more time before I end the stream. NDSN. Let me go intraday. 15 minutes, fine. Yeah, so they have gotten a negative reaction. I don't think this is some sort of fake out move. The bid and ask on the order book is following the price down. So I think it's sitting at 230 a share now. So it is down almost $20 a share. They closed regular session at 249.55. So again, this is going to be guidance related on NDSN, because they did have a double beat. They beat EPS and they beat revenue. So they're having issues with forward guidance as well. Let me just look at a few other things. Okay, if people want to get into the NDSN earnings call with the CEO, let's see what time they're going to do theirs. Okay, Nordson Corporation. Let me just click on this real quick. I want to go to the investor relations section. All right, you know what's funny? Their conference call with the CEO isn't until tomorrow. They're saying tomorrow morning, and this is coming straight from their own website. They're saying 8:30 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning. So yeah, that's not going to go down until tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow a.m. And I already showed everyone how to get to the Adobe call with the CEO. That's gonna happen in 17 more minutes. You can join that earnings call with the CEO. I put the link on the bottom of my screen on YouTube. Pretty sure Twitter can see it too. Tim Dwyer on YouTube. What was the reason for Adobe going down? I thought it beat estimates. And you're right. It did beat EPS. It did beat revenue. Some of the things that I've uncovered is investors were patiently waiting to see if they're going to change their corporate strategy, because what their corporate strategy has been for this year is adoption first and monetization later. So they were kind of giving out a lot of their AI tools for free because they wanted to capitalize on, I shouldn't even use the word capitalize, but they wanted to focus on people adopting their tools before actually starting to charge money for it. And investors are just kind of getting impatient with that business model and that strategy that they've had. And with the guidance and everything that they just released, there's nothing changing in their corporate structure, or I'm sorry, their corporate strategy. So I think that's why it's got Adobe has the negative reaction. Investors are just sick of waiting around for this whole adoption first, monetization later. Investors are getting tired of it. Now that doesn't go, that doesn't mean that investors are just going to straight bail on the stock. I mean, obviously we saw some selling with this catalyst, but like I say, Adobe still is going to be fine. They're still a solid company, solid fundamentals, solid financials. We're getting a bit of a negative reaction on this earnings because investors aren't seeing what they want to see in the forward guidance. So Tim Dwyer, I hope that kind of helped clarify what's going on with Adobe right now with the price reaction. Kiwi on Discord, ADBE earnings tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be interested in watching that one. I know they got there's quite a few people that trade that one. ADBE, that's Broadcom, of course. And yeah, I will be interested in seeing them because they're trading right around resistance, right around all-time highs, basically. Let me go weekly chart. Yep. So they're just sitting right up here. This would be a company also that I would be interested in seeing if there is a negative reaction, then there could be a good opportunity to get a discount on the stock. Tim Dwyer, or Tim on YouTube, asked, when do you think we can expect a bounce back? There's no telling exactly when. If someone tries to tell you they know exactly when, don't trust them and don't listen to them. My opinion is yes, it's going to bounce back. I don't know when, but the reasons why I think it's going to bounce back is a lot of the fundamental and financial information that we just went over when we took a peek at their income statement going into this earnings and their balance sheet and stuff like that. Overall, Adobe is a solid company, and companies like that do bounce back. I just don't know when. So if it was me, my opinion, especially after a catalyst like this where we get a negative reaction, give it a day or two to build the confidence up that the selling has stopped, or at the very least the selling has slowed down, and then maybe you could start DCAing into a long position, if you will. But I think one of the key things is just having a little bit of patience to ensure that the selling has stopped or at least slowed down. That's what I would be watching for. And then that would, once the selling has stopped or slowed down, then we ride the wave back up. Okay, don't try and catch a falling knife. So that's my opinion on that, and I hope maybe that helps clarify what I'm personally thinking, and maybe something I said helps confirm something that you were already thinking, right? So we're a team here, and we all collaborate and brainstorm together and toss up new ideas and things of that nature. TB on YouTube. If earning reports and stocks are good, why do they sometimes fall in price? Great question. We went over that a little bit just a little bit ago. Basically, we see that a lot. You'll see a company beat EPS and beat revenue, and that's exactly what happened with Adobe. So double beat, right? What investors are mainly focused on is going to be the forward guidance, because we're forward-looking investors. The markets are always forward-looking. So yes, it's great. Oh, here's my EPS and revenue from last quarter. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but what you got cooking moving forward? And most of the reactions we're going to see from the earnings data is going to be based off of the guidance. So I hope that clarifies that. TB on YouTube. Guidance is always going to hold more weight than what the EPS and revenue is. All right. Yeah, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream because we've got about 10 more minutes until Adobe's earnings call with the CEO. Again, the link's on the bottom of my screen here. So if anyone wants to listen to the CEO, you can tune into that. And that starts in about 10 minutes. My name's The Swinging Bull with PB Alerts. That's our Discord name. That's my name on our Discord, in our Discord name, if you will. If anyone's looking for a new home, come check us out. There's some links in the description. You can actually join for free. I'm here to hang out every Wednesday. I'm not really here to sell anything to anyone. But if you're interested in jumping in the Discord, there's a free link. If you want to just jump right into premium, you can sign up for that, and all the links are in the description as well. But we got something for everyone. We live trade every day. Ethan, one of our analysts, Ethan, he live trades every morning. The market open. Okay, and he day trades options, basically. That's all he does. And mainly he just trades the open, makes his money the first few hours, and then he's done for the day, and he can go do whatever he wants, right? Spend time with friends and family, and he's made all his money in the morning, and it's a good thing. We also have a great swing trade analyst. His name's Lee. His Discord name is Mad Maverick. So if all you do is swing trade stocks, go connect with Mad Maverick. He's a great coach over here in the Discord. I personally handle the more advanced options, which is going to be your multi-leg options. I do a lot of credit spreads. I do a lot of debit spreads. I do a lot of condors. We've traded iron flies and butterflies. I've just started alerting a lot of diagonal calendar spreads. So as you know, if you're familiar with anything that I just said, you know exactly what kind of trading that I do. And I'm more focused on creating liquidity for the options chain, which means we actually are the ones writing the contracts, and then we can sell the contracts to other people. So if you're interested in more advanced options, I basically target weekly and monthly income. That's all I do. I run the wheel strategy on a ton of stocks. So if that's your thing and that's what you like to do, see me. And again, my name's the Swinging Bull on Discord. And for you technical analysis traders out there, I know some people could give two flying flips about the fundamentals and the financials, because they're just trading supply and demand. They're trading support and resistance levels, and they're just doing technical analysis trades. Maybe all they look at is candle patterns and volume and price action. If that's how you trade, you're going to want to go see Jay. Coach Jay, and I say this all the time, but he's probably one of the best technical analysis traders I've ever personally met, and I've been trading for almost 10 years now. So, but if that's your style of trading, go see Coach Jay. But as you can see, we got something for everyone. There's links in the description, and if you are looking for a new home, come join us, see how you like it, and if you do join, I definitely look forward to meeting you. But with that said, let me let everyone go so everyone has time to take a little break before the earnings call with the CEO of Adobe. But I hope everyone has a fantastic night, and I'll see everyone again next Wednesday. Again, I do this every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm always open to any questions or engagement. Type comments and questions on YouTube, Twitter, whatever, and I'll answer them. But I always have a lot of fun hanging out with everyone after the regular session closes. It's usually 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. I'm here every Wednesday. But with that said, yeah, have a great night. And I'll see everyone in the next stream. Cheers, y'all.